And today on the Going North podcast, we're back at you again with another author, but not just any author. This one's an overcomer, baby. This one's an overcomer. Because, man, oh, man, when folks reach out to you and they are interested in publicity and they tell you the story, it's like, wow, this is amazing. And, man, I've got an amazing woman for you today. Not only is she an author, she's also a best-selling author and a renowned speaker in business success and motivation. And she's also a life coach that has empowered people who face physical and emotional challenges to fulfill their goals and overcome obstacles. And speaking of obstacles, she's had to overcome plenty of them, because when she was 16, she was diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa and has experienced measurable vision loss over the years, but she didn't let that stop her, because she is on this podcast today, and it's not her first and definitely not her last, because she has also appeared on big stations such as Working for Good Morning America and Entertainment Tonight. She also had a music career, and she's got a lovely voice, and you probably shouldn't be surprised she had a music career. And she was also a top-producing realtor in Southern California. So the woman's legally blind and selling houses, baby. You got to be amazing to do all that. And she's also the host of her own show called the National Living Full Out Show. And you're probably wondering who this wonderful person is. It's the one, the only Nancy Solari. How are you today?
I am great. Thank you so much. What an introduction. I like it.
Ah, that's good. That's good indeed. And the funny part about it is intros aren't allowed to be a whole month long. So mind filling in some cavities where I may have missed some fillings?
You know what? You did great. You did great. You know, the thing I will just share in between all of those, I guess one would say accolades or life milestones, is, you know, all the things that we go through in our life. So, you know, amongst the highlights, you know, I've definitely been down there in the trenches with folks. I've gone through being a child of divorced parents, seeing my sisters having eating disorders, going through financial loss, being sexually harassed in the music industry, having multiple miscarriages, you know, on and on and on. But the beauty of life is that it's like the hardships, they make us stronger. They actually build who we are.
It's true indeed, brick by brick. And when folks throw bricks at you, it looks like you just made a bunch of castles out of them.
I do like castles. Not that I'm a princess, but I do like castles.
That's right. You're not no princess. You're a queen. That's right. That's the mentality.
Thank you. Music to my heart.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, going through all that, just being legally blind starting at 16, you were able to turn around to a music career, and then also had the 5 miscarriages. Oh, my goodness, and still going strong today. So, like, what keeps you motivated?
That's a great question. Well, if I consider being 16, when I was diagnosed, our doctor told my sisters and I we're all legally blind. He basically told my mom, we're like the 3 blind mice, but he basically said to her, all your daughters are going to go blind by 40. And the thing is, when you're told that at 16, all you want is your license. You just want to date. You just want to think about college. But I don't know, it really ignited a spirit within me that made me want to go after things in a bigger way. And the beauty of the whole thing about going blind, though, I will tell you, is I don't see competition. I don't see homeless. I don't see black or white. And so how you live life, how you meet people is based upon their personalities. How you live life is by the passion inside your heart. And so it's kind of interesting because it's helped me to be more focused going blind, believe it or not.
It kind of reminds me of some of those stories of the blind samurai in Japan from long ago, that they were more dangerous than those with sight because it just strengthened all the other senses.
That is true. I'm not sure who hears better, my Jack Russell or me. We both have great hearing.
That's right, and here his name is Lionel Richie.
His name is Lionel Richie. Yes, he does take requests. He is easy like but he is a great partner in crime. And Lionel and I have been together for about 11 years now, and when we're out and about, he guides me along, and he's great.
Speaking of beautiful, did you always have this wonderful voice? Is that what led to the music career? Is like how did that come about?
Thank you for asking. Music, I think, is really within all of us. Sometimes we sing in the shower. I was always a karaoke person. When I was in college, I was a karaoke host. And the thing is if you have a passion to do something, like I love to sing, you can take that passion and make it a reality. It just depends on what level. So some people will always stay a shower singer or a car singer. Some people may learn an instrument and decide, you know what, I'm going to go sing in a cafe or Starbucks on Sundays. Little teeny gigs, right? Other people may join a band. For me, when I was in LA, I was like, you know what, I'm going to start networking with people. I'm going to get a demo tape. I'm going to put it together. I'm going to go to where I know the music people are with tapes in hand. And surely I ended up meeting great contacts and recorded an album, and it was just great. It was a positive experience. The only caveat to the whole thing is when I was in the music industry, it was a very impressionable time, meaning I was in my early 20s. A lot of times the producers, the managers, all of them, it was a lot of casting couch type of thing, and I wasn't a selling out kind of gal. I knew I had talent, but I was very strong in my beliefs of who I was. And so I kind of made a decision. I decided as much as I loved the music industry and wanted to be in it, I wanted to keep my soul at the same time. So that is when I transitioned into real estate and kind of took that on.
Beautiful indeed. I like the fact that you said you didn't want to sell out. So don't sell out, just live full out.
That is right. Ooh, I like that. I might have to pay you royalties on that one. I like it.
Woohoo! Sweet. I can probably wear the phrase on the front and then have a face of you on the back, right?
There you go. T-shirts for everybody.
That's right. You get a T-shirt. For $24.99. The shipping and handling. And you get like
Now you sound like Oprah. And you get a T-shirt. And you get a T-shirt. Oh, that's funny.
Oh, yes, indeed. Well, how was it just selling real estate with the vision impairment? I mean, did you have your service dog lined with you at the time, too, helping you out? Or how did that come about?
Super good question. Because I was in real estate for 13 years, it was during that time that I had measurable jumps in my vision loss. So when I first got in, I still drove. But over time, I had to give up driving, and I had to get really resourceful. So I would take anywhere between 2 to 12 buses in a day showing property. I would show up early. I would turn on all the lights, memorize all the steps, and then my clients would come look at this multi-million-dollar home because it was in Los Angeles. They would look at this home, and then they would drive off in their BMW or Mercedes. I would turn off the lights. I would walk back to the bus stop, catch my next bus to my next showing. And then over time, I got an assistant and decided, you know what, I will let this person do all the showings. And so over time, I realized that I really didn't have to miss a beat. I just had to get creative. And the biggest thing was when I had to start to come to grips with the fact that I needed to let my clients know that I couldn't see. And it's kind of a scary place because you don't know if all of a sudden they're going to say, well, I don't want you as my agent anymore if you're going blind. Or, there's all these things that we go to like the worst place of what's going to happen. But I kid you not, when I started telling people about my visual impairment, they understood why I had an assistant. They understood why she was driving. And actually, they were super loving. They didn't need me to tell them what color the walls were. They just wanted my mind to negotiate the best price. So at that point, I didn't have to hide behind my disability. I could just be Nancy and do my job well.
Oh, yeah, so well. You probably had all sorts of streams coming in. That's right.
You know what? Real estate is a great industry. I loved it.
Oh, yes, indeed. That's really powerful indeed. And it's really amazing, and it kind of shows the bright mind that you have and the bright mind that every human has when they actually decide to use it. It's like, hey, I may be lacking in the eyesight category, but I can still count all these steps I'm going up and show up early and turn on all the lights and then memorize certain things. It's like, wow, man, that's an amazing feat.
Yeah, and the thing is what I want to share with your listeners, because not everyone's going to be blind, but some people, they might have a broken heart. It might be a divorce. It might be abuse. Some people, it may be a bankruptcy, and that haunts them. And sometimes we wear these flaws that we feel, or these hardships in our life, we wear them like labels, and they define us, but really they don't. It's just a matter of taking that moment and figuring out how can I be better, and really owning, in some cases, what should I have done differently. Because when you can look back and just kind of gain the lessons, then when you hit that crossroad again, you know you're not going to go the same way you went before. You're going to go the other direction.
That's right indeed. That's right indeed. You're like the perfect example of that, because you had other setbacks in life. So it's not just a one story, one testimony that you're telling for 70 years on the planet. I mean, of course, you haven't been on the planet for that long, but still, it's just that you able to actually turn that setback into a setup for all sorts of comebacks, which is great.
Yeah, and the thing is it's not like anybody has to become a speaker or an author. I mean, that's a great gift and a great use of your passion and purpose if you step into that arena. But really, I always tell people, bring it on. I mean, yes, the hardships, they suck, right? I mean, they're not enjoyable. But at the same time, the texture and the stories that you have to tell and the camaraderie that people have, people want to support that underdog. People want to hang out with others that get them. So it's not like you meet people and all of a sudden you throw up everything that you've gone through. But there is a special quality between those that are survivors, and when you've survived anything or overcome any hardship, that gives you a storyline to start with.
Yeah, something everybody has right there, a storyline to start with. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And I guess that's probably one of the biggest keys to selling, especially in certain industries, right? Just have a good story to tell and a product to sell.
Yeah, the better storyteller you can become, doors open. And I mean, again, if you're going to become a storyteller and you're a speaker or you're an author, then obviously you're there to entertain, you're there to motivate, and so forth. But you can be a great storyteller just in the living room of your friend's house, meeting new people. And so I just encourage everyone to really consider what they've gone through, consider the peaks and the valleys, right? Consider the accomplishments you've had, and then build a story around that. Be able to explain to people in a heartfelt way what you went through, how it was hard, but also what you learned, and that really pulls people in.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It pulls them in just like glue in a lasso. That's right.
Just don't sniff it, but yeah.
Oh, come on, a little glue and some weed, just sniff off of them, Let me stop.
There you go.
Wait, I forgot we need to live full out. Let's pull out the Expo markers, too. Sniff those, too.
Okay, then. Grape flavored, cherry flavored.
Oh, man. Well, the beautiful thing is you're telling stories and all sorts of powerful ones, and also led you to become an author. So what led you to actually, what inspired the fact that you decided to publish a book and actually put it out there?
Well, I write books with a purpose. And so one of my books was Release the Powerhouse Within You, and that was dedicated to people who want to be entrepreneurs, like figuring out what product, what service do you want to create, how can you be the solution to people's problems, just kind of that discovery, and then what are those next steps. But again, I wanted it to be purposeful for one audience. I wrote another book called Visualize Your Potential. The key word there is visualize. It was for the blind and the visually impaired to really dig in and be resourceful and figure out how, they could live their life even without their vision, but in some cases having even a stronger vision without their eyesight. And then the other one was the speaker's advocate. And just like we've talked here today about, learning how to tell your story and harnessing those hard moments and, talking about the peaks is in the speaker's advocate, I really wanted to work with people on figuring out how to create a speaking career, how to build a team, to social media, to developing their story. And so every book that I do always has a purpose in mind.
Beautiful, Dave. Writing with a purpose, writing with a purpose. So are there any other books waiting in the wings? The publisher just going to continue on with all the other 59,000 projects you're doing?
Oh, actually, I am in the process of completing a memoir right now, and that will be very insightful as well. It's still being further developed, but that's going to be coming out. And the thing is when my clients come to me and they say, Nancy, how did you do that? I instantly go right to my keyboard and I type it out. And you'd be surprised, and this is what I want to share with everybody. If you're doing social media or you're doing a blog, you just do that consistently every day, every month, and then pretty soon you have a book. You have a book just waiting for you. And it's really about just reserving the time and doing it.
Tweet and become published.
You know what? It's a lot of tweets to get there, but you never know. You never know.
Yeah, that's right. And I bet inspiration strikes at the most inopportune moments for you sometimes. Like, oh, yeah, in the shower, woo. Oh, shoot, I did. Got to write it down. Oh, darn it, my hands are wet now.
You know what? Everybody in my life knows I have recorders. I have tons and tons of recorders. Because if I get a thought or if somebody says something to me, I want to take it down. Sometimes I want to hear the person say it, though. So then I always grab a recorder and I'm like, tell me that quote. And just hearing somebody say that quote with passion, or why did that quote, touch you so much? Because of X, Y, and Z. The moral of the story is to be a good journalist, to be a good writer, is you want to do more listening and get more people talking.
There you go. Get them talking. That's right. Just put a bunch of snickerdoodle cookies in front of the face, or maybe do a reverse multi-level marketing scheme and give them out pictures of BMW as opposed to actual BMWs or something.
Well, that wouldn't be the one for me since I don't drive, but I hear you.
Woohoo! All righty. I'll save that in the joke book for the next podcast guest.
There you go.
Ooh, well, speaking of recorders everywhere, how does a morning look like for Nancy? What's probably your routine for getting prepared to tackle the day and all the challenges that await?
Oh, man, that is a great question. Everybody on my team would probably tell you I'm kind of a wild one in the morning because I get up around 4 a.m. Actually, I will tell you all, there is great programming on starting at 2 a.m. normally, but I will get up at 4 a.m. I will kind of let myself wake up, and then somewhere around 5 o'clock or so, that's when I start doing some sort of a workout, whether I jump on my treadmill or, yes, I will do Jane Fonda. Now, for any of those who know Jane Fonda, it's not so much that I can see her on the TV. It's just I lost my vision in my teenage 20 years, and so back then Jane Fonda was really big. So I can't actually even see the video, but I have all the moves memorized, and I get quite a workout. So I pop in my Jane Fonda, I do my workout, I'm on the treadmill, and then I will start checking emails, taking calls, and I really just go through my day. I sit down, I work hard, but I play hard. I will get up and Lionel and I will go for a walk, or we'll get together with a friend in the evening. I always try to find time to write. That's kind of my sacred time. And then, I wind my day down usually around 9:30, 10, and then do it all over.
There you go. So early rise at 4 a.m., sometimes 2. All right. So I guess waking up.
Rise and shine. They say early bird gets the worm. Now, I don't like worms, but I am an early riser.
Oh, yeah. I guess early bird gets the word, I guess, maybe, like a bird word or something, maybe.
That early bird gets the word. I like it. Look at you with all your great little taglines tonight. I like it.
That's right. Tag, everybody's in. Woo!
Funny.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, living full out indeed. So went from the bad news and turning around into really good news by just living multiple lives in one life and nowhere close to senior citizen status yet, to now just life coaching. So what led to life coaching? Was that an idea you just came across after real estate, or was real estate getting boring and it's like, let me just go and try life coaching since it's like helping out people or something?
Great question. It's interesting. I had actually someone recently asked me a similar question. She asked kind of why I do what I do. And the thing is a lot of times as children or as budding adults, there are going to be things that we naturally are good at. Like, I'm a natural good listener. I have an empathetic heart. I like to, pitch in and guide or give advice when I can. And that started young, watching my parents go through a divorce. I was kind of the counselor of the family, counseling my mom, working with my sisters during their competitive eating disorder days. And then as time went along, I became kind of the listener to friends of mine who were going through dating issues, or, other visually impaired people that I met along my journey who maybe didn't have the same positive outlook that I had to kind of help guide them along. And so for me, life coaching, it's not even work. It's a passion, and it's just natural. Like I don't even feel like I'm working. I get off a coaching call and I go on to my next one, and it's like I'm there to help. And so I think the moral of the story is we all just want to look at what are we naturally good at. What do people say, oh, gosh, I have a tech issue, I'm going to come to you. Or, you know what, you always know how to dress, you're a good dresser. Or, I need someone to look at my writing, and you're a great writer. Whatever people come to you for, let that kind of be a little bit of a compass in steering you in the right direction to helping you live your dreams and find that purpose. And for me, life coaching and speaking and all that, it's just a natural fit.
There we go. Natural fit indeed, like a wonderful glove. That's what I'm talking about. So, got a memoir coming out. Any other big, huge projects you want to put out into the world that you're planning on accomplishing, or is that G14 classified?
Actually, the book is coming around the corner and still being, put together, but it's going to be great. I do, want to let people know that they're welcome to check out our radio show. It's national. And if you want to go to livingfullout.com, that's kind of a nice central hub. Or if you have Alexa, you can just search Living Full Out Radio, or we're in the App Store on your phones, Android and iPhone, so just search Living Full Out Radio. And the reason why I bring that up is because, today you're hearing my story, but we have all these different guests who come on who have been through plane crashes and abuse and have had different conditions of all kinds, and it's about how they decided to leave a legacy, how they got to where they are. And it's just really inspiring, and I think sometimes it will jog people's memory or their ideas on what they want to bring forth in their own life, or at least that's the emails we get. After every show, we get a series of emails of people that say, oh my gosh, thank you so much for having this guest on, that they were telling my story. And so I just invite your audience here to go check it out, livingfullout.com radio.
That's right. Check it out like a library book, y'all. That's right. You get to hear Nancy's voice even longer. That's right. And then you'll be in all sorts of trances. It'll be freaking amazing.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, yes, ma'am, indeed. Yes, ma'am, indeed. Well, all right. It's probably got a version of this question before, but I usually like to ask every guest this. So if you were 25 again, but this time in 2019, and you get your sight back and you get to keep all of your knowledge and experience, and you learned all the musical instruments in the world, what advice would you give to yourself?
Wow. If everything was loaded and going in the right direction, for sure, I would say that you want to teach other people. If somebody is so lucky to have things going perfectly in the right direction, it's like you want to teach other people and give back. A lot of times I will have people say to me, I want to volunteer, I want to give back, but I'm so busy in my day. It's kind of like that hamster wheel, right? They're always on it, on it, on it. And so if I had everything going at 25, everything was perfect, all boxes were checked and all cylinders were going, then that's what I would do. Now, the thing is that's not always the reality, because when you're 25, or at least for me, that's your experimental phase. That's when you're trying to find yourself. That's when you're working. You get a degree, but yet you're working at, a fast food place, or you're a bartender, or you're whatever. It's kind of the party days. But you can learn a lot from even those early days when you're trying to find yourself. But I would say most 25-year-olds don't have all those boxes checked.
Yep, it's true. It's true. Indeed, it's a continuously seeking journey. A journey north, I might add.
Yes. But isn't it good that we have the journey? And it's really about making the most of your time. And we never know why children pass early. We never know why some people's lives are done at 60. Well, other people live to be over 100. My grandfather died last Easter. He lived to be 100 and a half. But it's about just making the most of the time you have, and then just making a difference. If you be the best mom and dad you can be. If you're not a parent, be the best friend you can be. Be the best coworker you can be. And that's how living full out happens. It's just about giving it your all.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Give it your all, baby. That's right, with all capital letters, like you're yelling on the computer screen. Give it all.
all. That's right. Now we're Southern. I like it.
That's right, cowboy and cowgirl hats, wrangling up all the cattle. Woohoo!
Woohoo! I like it.
Woo! Well, all righty. For those who want to keep in touch with you and check out your radio show, I'm sure I'll put all the links in the show notes, but I'll be keep in contact with you.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, feel free to go to livingfullout.com. Everything is there for you. We're on all the social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, all of them. And the thing is when you go to our social medias, we're not going to be just promoting our company. We don't do that. We tell stories, right? We talked a lot today about becoming a good storyteller. That's what we do. So even our social media is meant to share stories, open your eyes, open your ears, and let you live your life full out. You're welcome to call us also. Our local number is 310-909-7800. And you can email us at connect@livingfullout.com.
Woohoo! Well, there you have it, folks. Go on ahead and check out the wonderful Living Full Out National Radio Show. Get to hear all sorts of wonderful stories from guests from all over the world, baby. And check out all of Nance's goods that she has to offer so you can continue to be inspired to charge north to your greatness indeed.
Well, and thank you very much for having me on, and I look forward to hearing from all of you.
Woohoo! Beautiful indeed. Beautiful. And hey, pleasure having you on, too.
Thank you very much. Here's to you all living it full out, for sure.